Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Heathwyn, and over on my Twitch channel, we are raising money all month long for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I would love it if you stopped by and said hello. So link down below is my Twitch channel as well as links to my Tiltified Plays page. If you are feeling inclined to donate to St. Jude, I would really appreciate to see you over there, and like I said, I'd love to see you. Now today we are back playing our short lifespan legacy, in which every generation is a different game pack or expansion pack in The Sims 4. And in our last episode, we really had quite a shakeup happen when we learned that the Hermit of Granite Falls, who Basil was developing a relationship with, they had woohooed, she was pregnant. We thought for sure this baby was Basil's. She had the baby only to discover that the baby wasn't Basil's, but was, in fact, Prince Landgrab's baby. Of all of the people for the Hermit of Granite Falls to have had a baby with, she had a baby with a Landgrab. So this child is the grandchild of Nancy and Jeffrey Landgrab. I don't even know. So I'm trying to really figure out what it is that we want to do. Basil has the option to adopt Calla, who was a little girl. Obviously not the little girl's fault if he wanted to adopt her as a caregiver. We had only rolled for them to have one baby, but this is not Basil's baby. So it's like, what do we do? I don't know what to do. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm gonna do, but I do know that Basil does need to go camping. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we let Basil go off on a camping trip. Maybe we confront Brittany with the fact that the baby isn't his, and then he can maybe head off to Granite Falls on his own, take a little bit of a camping trip, just kind of try to get away and disconnect a little bit and try to recover from this shock, because it has been quite a shock. He's coming up to Brittany. This kid isn't mine. I don't know what to do. You told me that this was my baby, and it's not. And you've had a baby with the Landgrabs? That's so not like you. I don't even know what to do. I think I just need a little bit of space, so I'm gonna take a trip to Granite Falls and just try to give myself some space. And Brittany is coming in to tend to Calla. You know, she's pretty quiet. She doesn't say much, but she definitely did mislead Basil into thinking that this was her baby. And maybe she really thought that this was Basil's baby. You know, she's been a hermit. She's been living in the woods for a long time. So maybe she really honestly didn't realize what was happening. You know, maybe Prince Landgrab took advantage of her. It's hard to say. She's feeling angry right now, though, because she and Basil did get in an argument about all of this. And I think we are going to go ahead and let Basil take a little bit of a trip to Granite Falls. He's going to go alone and to focus on looking for insects, just to kind of clear his mind a little bit. He just really needs some space right now. And so he's leaving Brittany with a newborn, and he is going off. He's going to say, let's spend 2 days. Just give him a little bit of space, a little bit of time to cool down and recover from the shock of all of this. So he has arrived at his trusty campground. It's probably a little bit difficult for him to be here because he met Brittany in Granite Falls. Oh my gosh, where's his tent? Why is his tent not in his inventory? Okay, we got Basil his tent. He's all good. He still needs to sleep 2 more nights in a tent for his aspiration, so 2 nights works. He has maxed the herbalism skill, but he is not quite there yet on the insect collection. So he's at 15 out of 21 insects. So I think while we're here, we will let him do some hunting for insects and try to just let himself recover a little bit. All right, Basil has come over to the national park so that he can collect some insects and see if he can like round things out with his collection. But he is finding that it is kind of difficult to be here. He's really trying to like keep his focus in on nature, and you know, he was doing some cloud gazing, and he's trying to distract himself. And so catching bugs, going for walks in the woods, this is how he is trying to make up for the fact that, you know, the person that he was falling in love with and that he was having a relationship with and he thought he was having a child with was also involved with somebody else. And this child that he was not the most thrilled was coming into his life, but he had come to terms with it. And then to learn that this wasn't his child really, really been difficult. And it is Calla's birthday, and she is probably going to age up without him there. And almost as if, you know, fate would lead it here, he has made his way over to the entrance to the Deep Woods, which is where Brittany lived and where he met Brittany. And I think he's heading in because he's really trying to come to terms with all of this. Right, and he has come through the thicket, and you know, the first thing that he sees is the beautiful waterfall, and it's all sitting kind of heavy in his heart. There is a new hermit. We now have Etta Renejo, who is the new hermit, who has taken up Brittany's place as resident of the Hermit of Granite Falls. So Basil is actually approaching this new hermit. I think he's coming up to her just to kind of try to gain some understanding a little bit. And he is saying hello to Etta. He's going to talk to her a little bit about herbalism. He does think that she is independent and capable and that she's also impact conscious. And she thinks he is a little bit dramatic. But he is going to talk to her, and he's like, you know, I met your predecessor, Brittany. We became really good friends. We developed a romance. And she's like, I heard about what happened to my child, and I know how hard this must be for you. She's like, but being out here and being alone, you tend to gravitate towards whichever people come your way, especially if you haven't seen any in a while. And she's saying, you know, give her some time. It's okay that you've taken your space, but don't give up on things. Let her have a little bit of space. You take your space, and then try to find the whole story. Basil has woken up. He is now just needs one more night in a tent to complete his aspiration, but he's woken up feeling homesick. Too much time in the forest can take a toll on the best of us. He's kind of wanting to go back home. So maybe his little talk that he had with Etta really helped him kind of come to terms with some things. And maybe he will go back home early to see Brittany and to talk with her a little bit about all that took place and with Calla. And maybe he is, you know, starting to see that maybe it's not as bad as he thought it was going to be. He's still definitely hurt, which, I mean, you can't really blame him for feeling a bit hurt about all of that. But I think that he is really considering that he is ready to go back home and see how things are there. And so with that, I think we are going to end our vacation early and let him go back home and just check in and see how things are. So he is coming in and he's like, I'm back home and I wanted to talk to you about what has happened with Calla. And he's like, I am really hurt by it. And she's like, yeah, I can understand why you would be hurt. I was so lonely out there in the woods, and he came and you both came and he took advantage of me and the situation, but you were so kind, and I really didn't know for sure that Calla wasn't your baby, so I was very surprised too. And Basil is like, I think I would like to adopt Calla as my own. But even though I know neither one of us is particularly excited about another pregnancy, I would like to have a child with you that is mine. So do you think that that's something that we could try? And she's like, yeah, I don't really want another child. So I think that this is something that I do need some time to think about. But I do really care about you, and I would like this to stay here. I'd like to continue to be in this relationship with you. And Basil's like, well, I would like you to take some time to think about it. I will take care of Calla and I will help you out with that. I'm not going to throw you out of my house, but I do want to be able to have my own child that is mine. You know, I lost my mom when I was really young, and, you know, this is something that I do want to have happen. And because it is actually Calla's birthday, I think we are going to go in and go ahead and age Calla up into an infant and help us all. We're going to have a base game infant, which are very challenging and difficult. So here we go. Here comes Calla. All right, now I do like to randomize my traits, and especially since Calla is probably not going to be our heir and kind of continuing forward in this legacy because she's not Basil's like actual child. We're gonna just randomize everything for her and see where the dice take us. So I'm gonna roll 3 times for her infant trait. 1, 2, 3. So she is wiggly. These Sims are always on the go and want to play and move about. However, they often struggle to fall asleep or pay attention for extended periods of time. Okay, so Calla has aged up. She is a little infant. She is going to need a makeover because she definitely has some random CC on her. So let's get her made over. All right, so this is little Calla, Brittany's child with a land grab. She is really cute, and I'm very heartbroken that this is not Basil's child. But here is Calla. She is a very cute little infant. This is her everyday outfit, her little formal wear, her sleepwear, party, hot weather, and her cold weather wear. So with the infant around now, and Basil really is trying to make an effort, he is gonna take Brittany out on a date and just see if they can just get out of the house, send Calla off to a babysitter, and maybe just kind of try to reinvigorate their relationship a little bit. So I think let's have them come over here to the Old Crust Bar. Since we're just playing with base game and outdoor retreat, we don't have like restaurants or anything like that. So we'll take a little date over here and they can try to spend some time together, try to just sort of work stuff out a little bit. So they are going in and they're chatting some, you know, Basil has decided that, you know, he would like to have a child with Brittany, but he's not gonna actively push for them to like try to have a baby. So what that means for us as we play The Sims, I'm gonna let them woohoo, and if they get pregnant naturally and organically, then so be it. If that doesn't end up happening, then Calla may end up being our heir, and Basil will just adopt her as a dependent, and we'll go from there. That's kind of my thought process, my plan, just to kind of like work all of this into a story because, you know, the reality is Basil doesn't want a child right now, neither does Brittany, and so I don't want to force that on them. I would like there to be a biological child for Basil just because I like that with my legacies, but I don't want to make my Sims miserable either. And, you know, there is something kind of funny about having a land grab come in and usurp your legacy. It just seems kind of fitting in some ways. Okay, Basil is feeling flirty, as is Brittany. So I think we will let them have a kiss. And I think we're gonna let Basil ask Brittany to be his girlfriend. You know, he has gotten over things. I think his little chat with the new Hermit of Granite Falls kind of showed him that Brittany was taken advantage of. She didn't really know what was happening because she was so isolated. And it was an honest mistake. She does genuinely have feelings for Basil, so he has asked her to be his girlfriend, and she has said yes. Which honestly is perfect. They really did. It is a good match, even with this, you know, shocker of all shockers that she woohooed with a land grab. Oh, she is also like getting into this whole thing. It is now a steamy exchange. I don't know if he's quite ready to propose just yet. He was ready to take that next step to ask her to be his girlfriend, but a proposal, you know, all things considered, he's not quite there yet. Their date is over. They've come back home. And I think because they did go out on a date and it was a pretty successful date, we're going to go ahead and we are going to let them woohoo. Now, hopefully, you know, she doesn't then turn around and woohoo with anyone else and we are once again left with a questionable pregnant person. Now, Basil is trying with little Calla. So he is coming in, giving Calla a bottle while Brittany kind of takes care of herself a little
Cerno.
bit. They don't have
Ma.
like the greatest relationship just yet, but he is putting in the effort
Caribou.
to try to get to know Calla, to
Gedna.
have a little bit more of a
Caribou.
bond with her. So he
Sharbatin
is trying.
too.
I mean, she is
Ooh,
really cute,
Nubu
and he does
Bembo.
appreciate the cuteness of the
Oh.
baby. And he knows that, like, she's here and she's
Oobu
here
zip
to
nibna.
stay. So he
Bibby
is
bougie.
certainly gonna try to make the best of the whole situation. He added
Ah.
this mobile onto the crib for
Oobu
her,
zip nibna.
and
Biggie
he's
bougie.
trying. He's playing peekaboo with her. He is
Ah.
trying, and I think he will make a really good
Better.
father, and he is being a
Ah,
father to this
you'll
child
see, Bim.
because Prince Landgrab's not going to show up. She
Uh-huh.
doesn't even know Prince Landgrab. I don't know how she managed to woohoo with him, but somehow this is Prince Landgrab's kid.
Torbaset che. Plato. Flif Croot.
Brittany has come to terms with the baby and has come to accept her. She was really upset about being pregnant and having Calla in the first place. And maybe part of that had to do with what she knew, like what had happened between her and Prince, and then what happened between her and Basil. And maybe a lot of that was that uncertainty of what was going on with this child. And that could very well have contributed to what made her so anxious about her pregnancy and what made her really hesitant with Calla. Interestingly enough, too, like Basil really came to terms with things with Calla faster than Brittany, and maybe ultimately it became his acceptance of Calla as his child that really turned the tide for Brittany and helped her to accept Calla too. Oh no! Basil is angry from wrinkle wrath, from noticing wrinkles. Are those wrinkles? How dare Basil's body age? So I do have a gradual aging mod installed, and it looks like maybe Basil is starting to develop a little bit of wrinkles thanks to that mod, and he is not happy about it. He is getting closer to becoming an adult and stepping away from young adulthood, so that could very well be where that's coming from, but that's kind of funny. He's very angry about it. Okay, why don't you try to calm down, Basil?
What?
It's all right. We all age. It's okay.
Yep.
Oh, Brittany is feeling very uncomfortable. She is coming down with a severe disease from a bacterial disease. Brittany feels just awful. Try to rest and take it easy for a while. This isn't going away tomorrow. Rest, home remedies, and medication are sure to make a difference. But if something stronger is desired, antibiotics are available at the doctor. And she's feeling a little bit off. So maybe we'll try to send her to the doctor, and we'll let Basil go with her and just see kind of what's going on. She's like really, really uncomfortable and not doing very well. Brittany is back and has been diagnosed with sinusitis. Brittany can fill the prescription for antibiotics via the online pharmacy or attempt to treat the disease with home remedies such as orange juice, herbal tea, and other over the counter medications. I think that we'll let her treat it at home. I kind of feel like that's what she would do. Like, I don't think she would really want to take any antibiotics. I think she would try to do like the herbal remedy stuff because that's just kind of consistent with her outdoorsy lifestyle. So let's let her come and get a glass of orange juice. Basil will take care of Calla because he doesn't want Calla to get sick. While Brittany is inside, like resting and trying to get better, Basil has brought little Calla outside. I think he's really trying to get Calla to kind of develop that love of the outdoors that both he and Brittany have. So he's playing some horseshoes. He brought her blocks out so she could play outside in the fresh air while Brittany is in here, napping and trying to get over her sinusitis that she's got. She's not feeling all that well. So he is really trying. He's in telling Calla a bedtime story, and he really is a good dad. Like, he's gonna be a good father. He's already being a really good father to Calla and just doing all of these things. And Brittany, as sick as she is, has now just discovered that she is pregnant with Basil's child, and she is now in her first trimester. And they had woohooed a few times since they went on their date. But now she is pregnant, and now she is going to need to come and share this news with Basil. So she's coming up, and she is going to break the news to Basil, who has to pee. Good time to break the news, Brittany. She's like, I've got something to tell you. We had been talking about this, And
Huh?
I know that,
Well,
Calla
shit,
isn't
you
very
know,
old, and we went through a lot of difficulties kind of surrounding her.
Sark?
But
Oh,
I am pregnant again, and Basil's like, oh,
maybe.
I wanted another child, but now with Calla being so young still, I kind of hope that maybe, a little bit more time would pass before this happened, but it hasn't. And Brittany is now pregnant. They have a infant in the house and another baby on the way, when the reality was neither one of them really wanted any kids at all, and we were only supposed to have one kid in this house. So Basil is feeling pretty tense, but also flirty apparently. And Brittany is still sick. She's been sick, so she's still trying to recover from that. And I think with all of this excitement, we're going to wrap this episode up here. So we do have another child on the way. I kind of felt like we needed to speed it up a little bit though. It is short lifespan, so we don't have a lot of time to do things. Plus, Brittany is already older than Basil, and he's gonna be an adult in game in like 2 days. Calla will be aging up into a toddler in like 1 day in game, so she will not be young very long. Short lifespan stuff just happens fast, so we don't really have time to mess around a whole lot. We will be doing some more camping because I do want to try to have Basil finish the insect collection. He still has to sleep for one more night in a tent, so that still also has to happen, but we're getting there. We're gonna finish that aspiration for him, and then whatever this child is that's gonna be both of theirs, that will be our Gen 3 heir when that one arrives, and Calla will just be the older sister. I think I will still have Basil adopt her as a care dependent though, because let's be honest, the land grab guy is never going to show up and be around and be a part of this kid's life. I mean, he's a land grab. What can you say about that? Although there is something very ironic about a land grab impregnating the Hermit of Granite Falls. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about how things are progressing and the fact that we've got another baby on the way. But thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!